We have a bunch of new stuff to check out, so let's just get right into it. Starting it off with this guy from Glow Rhino. And Glow Rhino typically, or at least as far as I know, they always put a tritium insert in somewhere, and in this case it's in the heel of the blade, or heel of the handle I should say, which is a full tang. And you know, if it was dark in here you would be able to see it. And you know, tritium I believe lasts like 10 years or more. I think that's what it is, maybe even longer than that. But this is very ergonomic, very comfortable in the hand, phenomenal jimping. Did a great job with the jimping. This is a bushcraft knife. To me, this would be an outdoors knife. I probably wouldn't use it for anything other than, you know, fishing, hunting, camping, outdoors activity. It feels very tough. DC53 steel is basically a, to my knowledge, I've only tested it a couple times. I was pretty surprised the first time I tested it. It seemed like for a version of D2, because it's basically like a, I think D2 with like cobalt or something. It has something in there, I forget what it is, that makes it tougher or harder, one of the two. I think it might be tougher. Well, anyways, whatever it was, made it to where it did not feel like D2 when I sharpened it. It literally sharpened up an incredible polished edge, which D2 typically doesn't do. So it is very different. So, you know, you add or take something away from a steel, things change massively. So to my knowledge, I think they can bring it to a higher hardness or something like that. Anyways, you got a, what looks like a PVD coating over the top of it. So that's going to help you with the corrosion resistance. Very grippy G10 scales. This is a very comfortable, well balanced knife, like very, very comfortable. And then the sheath, great quality sheath, no rattle, no tap of any kind. You have a push-off point, you have a tech lock, and it's a slim tech lock, so you can take these off to, you know, or one of them or both of them to put wider belts in there, but it makes it to where you have a very easy ability to put on and take off your knife comfortably. A lot of belly with this guy, but it goes from narrow to bigger, so I bet you could kind of trap some like feather, you know, when you're feather sticking and stuff, it'll probably lock onto that spot fairly well. But yeah, pretty damn cool. So shout out to Glow Rhino. Let's check out the next one. Now the next one is another fixed blade from REMETTE. And this one came with a ferro rod and a striker. So that way you do not have to use your knife to strike your ferro rod. So you can just use the striker. So it has a spot right here for it to go. You'd want to probably put this somewhere so it's not just dangling all around. It's not the tightest fit there, I'll say that. Yeah, that is what she said. The knife though, let's get to the knife because that's the most important part, then we'll talk about the sheath. I think the sheath is pretty damn good, but the knife, it has, in my opinion, somewhat of a, not small, I don't want to say small, because it's like I have a perfect fit on the handle, like literally a perfect fit, but it's also right there at the limit. Like you see my pinky? Right there at the limit. I mean, it's literally the perfect width for my hand. It has a nice leaned forwardness to it, so I can definitely strike some power into it, definitely get some good utility cuts. I could technically choke over the blade stop or whatever right there to get some power cuts. The geometry is definitely on the thicker side. It is a robust knife in D2 steel. Now, I know D2 is a very affordable steel right now, so a lot of companies are using it as a budget steel, and it used to be a mid-grade, even considered a premium steel at one time. Now it is not, because it's not the D2 we used to know anymore. This is mass-produced production D2. So, in my opinion, that's not the best stuff you want to use for fixed blades. D2 it's not a great outdoors steel typically. Not that it can't be used, not that it wouldn't be just fine. The geometry on this is plenty tough. I'm sure it can baton and do all that stuff just fine. And it does have a coating over it, so you're not gonna have to worry about corrosion as much. They did send it with a nice good edge on it, so it's fine. And you know, depending on the price, you know, I wouldn't complain about it. But if it's, you know, over a certain price. Like if it's over 80 bucks, I would say no, you know, because, you know, it's a fixed blade in D2. It does come with the sheath, which does cost something. The Tech Lock 2 does cost something, which this is the best way to carry a Kydex sheath, in my opinion. And you got the ferro rod, the sheath. No rattle, no tear. This is a great sheath, man. Great sheath, great push-off point. The size, you know, is relatively compact while still being a full-size knife. I just don't feel like this is much of a bushcraft knife. That's my feeling. I feel like this is more of an EDC tactical knife in a way. So, you know, hey, just depending on what you are needing a fixed blade for, this might, you know, be the one for you. I don't know. The handle has nice texturing on it, so it does seem like something that it's not going to slip very easily. This thing right here does kind of push me back just a little bit. I don't think it's in a negative way, but it's just an observation. All in all, you know, it's pretty cool. Like I said, as long as it's not over, you know, a certain price, you know, it's 80 bucks or so, I'd say it's pretty cool. Let's check out the next one. Now, you know what? We'll get right to, so this is a new company, Until the Edge. This is a fixed blade from them. These are folders. We'll check those out next. Might as well do the fixed blades since we're doing fixed blades. And this is an EDC fixed blade now. So now we're moving into definite EDC realm. It has a Kydex sheath, again, with the Tech Lock belt buckle or belt you know, thing. So that's really cool. I love to see that. Micarta scales with, I think this is titanium. I think I already checked it. Let me just double check it. I believe it is titanium. It's titanium or aluminum, one of the two. Then we have, it is numbered 154 out of 160. The blade steel's 14C28N. Love, love, love to see. Oops, sorry guys, you guys aren't even focused. Love to see that. You got a numbered right here, 154 out of 160. 14C28N. We love to see that. It has a robust front end to it, but very pokey. It's still going to be, especially with the way it leans like this, great utility cutter. Like you have a ton of power going down into that. And then it's thinner right here. So if you did have to break down some cardboard or something, you're going to be able to trap the material in this little tiny, well, 1.5 inches or so edge and, you know, get some longer cuts without it pushing itself over this. And, you know, I'm sure you could do that too. You know, I'm sure that wouldn't bother you too bad, but, you know, with a controlled grip and pushing, you can lock things into there. Definitely very comfortable in the hand. It feels really nice in the hand. It has, you know, again, this is like the perfect size grip and nice thickness and width. It does feel damn good in the hand. I'll give it that. And like I said, it has that leaned forward feeling to it that especially serves you in the utility cuts. A little tiny bit of rattle, not much though. Nothing to really complain about. Not too bad. I wouldn't, it's not a threat or anything like that. Like I said, it does have the Tech Lock, which I love to see. Nice click, good retention. So yeah, pretty damn cool. I like this one. And you know, the micarta seems like it's decent quality. Not sure if this is titanium or aluminum. I'm sure I'll write it on the screen if I find out. But very cool. Hopefully it is titanium. It wouldn't hurt if it was aluminum though. Next is a folding knife from Until the Edge. Actually, you know what? Let's just pull them both out because they are both the same model, just different colors. So we have, oh wait, no, it's not two. I thought it was the same model for some reason. No, one's a thumb stud and one is, yeah, they're basically the same blade shape. One is a hole deployment from flipper. The other one's a thumb stud from flipper. So it's the same knife, just one with a hole, one with thumb studs. And it has a satin or a coated blade with the blue or green micarta. We have a deep carry clip inset with flat screws, not reversible. Now, the access to the lock bar is really generous. I like that. Good access to the lock bar. The clip, I do not like all that billboarding on there, but whatever, you know, I'm sure it's a very cheap knife, 14C28N. Now, I am going to make some statements here. Not that I want to insult the company or anything, but these do feel very affordable. You know, not that they can't be good quality affordable. I mean, the detent is solid. But there's just a little tiny indicators that lead me to believe that these are super affordable. Like one, there's a tiny hint of lock stick on both of them. The way the feeling is with the disengagement, because that little bit of lock stick, and then the smoothness, not that it's not smooth, I can tell it's on bearings, but there's something about it. Then the way that my card is finished and things like that, it does have inset liners, which is cool. The blade finish, you know, this one has a satin, this one's more of a stone washed. Not sure what type of coating that is. I'm sure it's like a PVD or something. So I would say if this knife is $30, and you know, I do not know the price, guys. I do not know the price. But I would say if this knife is $30, $35, it's a go. If it's your style. Big belly though, so know that you got a big belly. You're not gonna be able to do utility cuts very well because this tip is very, very high. That's the problem with big belly knives. You can cut with the belly down on a surface, so if you like to cut ropes and things like that, food and whatever, but if you're gonna try to do a utility cut, not so much. Slicing should be just fine, but once you get to that belly, it will slip out of the cut. This is a big belly drop point, or actually a big belly clip point, sorry, a big belly clip point. So, you know, to me, it's not my favorite blade shape. I personally wouldn't want to EDC it too much because I like to use the tips of my knives for a lot of things, but it still would be very, very useful. But like I said, I personally don't see, I wouldn't spend more than 35 bucks for it, considering the clip, like I said, you know, and just, you know, the little details I mentioned. But yeah, sharpening tool and plunge grind could definitely use some help. When you definitely could notch it out. Again, you know, this is probably super, super affordable, so it might not be that big of a deal. They did put good jimping on the front flipper, though. I'll give them that. You know, but there's just little indicators that lead me to believe that this is very, very affordable. You know, between the $20 and $30 range is what I feel. I know it's 14C, which typically a little bit more money. Ergonomics are okay. They're not horrible. But yeah, I personally would not want to spend, especially with the market right now, man. There's so much good out there in the $20 to $30 range, like some amazing, amazing knives. So, you know, when you get over 40, between 40 and 50, there's like damn near premium knives at this point when you consider Cut, Civivi, Kubi, and so on. It's okay, but for what you can get right now in the $40 to $50 range, like there's some amazing knives in the $40 to $50 range. So, you know, there's a lot of competition there. So what are you gonna do? There you guys go. If you guys like this type of content, I'll put some cards up on the screen for you to click on. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.